Hey guys, you're welcome to my channel, and in today's tutorial I'll be learning how to sew this beautiful corset. We already have part 1 on the page. I'll be adding it to the description box so that you can watch on how to cut the pattern. So let's go over to the tutorial. So these are the pattern that I'll be using for this tutorial. I already brought out my pattern, and like I said, we already had a tutorial for it, so you have to watch it to be able to make your own pattern. So for this tutorial we'll be using bridal fabric. I just saw a piece of bridal fabric, so we'll be using the bridal fabric for the tutorial. You will also use your boning for this tutorial. You need a sewable boning for this tutorial. Like this is my boning set. I have rubber, I have the plastic one, and I have the sewable one. So you'll be using the sewable, you'll be using your Ankara. You will need your cup, and make sure your cup is bigger than your regular bust. So this is a bust 46, so I'm a bust 42 and I'm using 46, so you see that it's bigger so that I can accommodate the bust. You also be needing hairstay, so you need a hairstay for this to iron it, to give it weight, to give your fabric weight. So let's go over to the cotton. So you need your bra cup, and you fold your bra cup into two like I'm folding it. You fold it into two, and then you trace out your bra cup. Just trace out the shape, trace it out. So after tracing it out, you have something like this, and then we'll go ahead to add allowance for the cup. So we'll be adding 1 inch allowance on the side and for the up side, but we'll not add 1 inch allowance for where we are joining. So you just do like what I'm doing, do 1 inch round. So for the middle side we'll be using 1/2 inch for the joining. So for the up and the side of the cup we'll be using 1 inch, while for the middle side of the joining we'll be using 1/2 inch to join it. So after joining your cup, we'll go ahead to cut it out. So after cutting out, we want to do the 3-piece stuff. You know, for the up part you can see there is Ankara, and then for the down part is bridal. So we want to divide it here. From the up part, you see that up measurement, not from the allowance. I came down by 2 inches. You can do 3 inches, because after making it I felt like I would have done 3 inches, but I came down by 2 inches, and then I marked it all the way 2 inches down, 2 inches, and then I curved it out. So you go ahead to label it, because you know it can be so funny. The side looks like the middle side if you're not careful. So I'll go ahead to label middle, so that I don't, when I'm joining it, I'm sure of it. Middle, you label side, so that you don't mistake the joining, and you may label the up, so that you don't make a mistake of what you are doing. Then you go ahead to cut it out, and so that it's time now for us to cut it on our fabric. So before we cut it on our fabric, we have to join the up. So the up is 1 piece, is not 2. So you go ahead to cut, you know, the allowance that you have at the middle up, you go ahead to cut it out. You cut it out, and then we want to draft a new up pattern. So you get a piece of paper and fold it into 2, and then you place the up pattern, you place it on top, because we want to cut it into 2. So just watch what I'm doing. So this is what we have. So this is it. This is how the up looks like. Now we have the down. So the down part, now we only have 1 piece of the down, so we'll go ahead to make the down part 2 piece when we are cutting it. So this is how it's going to look like. It will come out so nice. So in cutting of your fabric, cutting of your pattern on the fabric, you will need allowance, and at the up part you will go up by 1/2 inch, at the cup side 1/2 inch, and at that side 1/2 inch. You do 1/2 inch down, and also on that you do 1/2 inch for the folding. You do it at the opposite side to half an inch, up half an inch, and the side half an inch, and down half an inch. But this side you will not add any allowance. You won't add any allowance at the side. So I've gone ahead to cut everything, and then I went ahead to iron stay. I made strip, and this strip is for the bias, like for the bias, which is the boning, to fix the boning. So I went ahead to cut an iron stay. I ironed stay on the fabric, and I ironed stay on the lining. Please, if your customer is not paying well, don't iron stay on the lining. That's why they don't charge cheap on corsets, because people put a lot of things in corset to make it stand. Let me put this one before you say I'm the one that ironed stay here. Stay is actually expensive. Ironing stay on the fabric and on the lining. So for the strip, I made a long strip, and this 2 inches is 2 inches wide. So I'll go ahead, and this is like half inch. It's not 1 inch, so it's like half inch. So to fold it, I'll go ahead to, I have one that is bigger than one in this my boning. So but then to fold it, to fold your bias, you just place it like this and sew it down. You sew it down in a space that this boning can actually fit in, because we are facing it down. So I will show you what it looks like. You get, so this is going to look like at the ending. So I'll go ahead to join each of them to form a piece. I will do that off camera, because I don't want the video to be too long. I don't want it to be too long. So I'll go ahead, since I've done everything, I'll go ahead to join each of them to be piece, and then I will show you what it looks like. So after joining the front, this is what the front looks like. So we have the middle line and 2 extra lines, and this is it. I went ahead to open iron it. Then I'll go ahead to create a star line. So you can create different style line for yours. So I'll just get a ruler and create the style line, and then I'll measure how I want my style line spacing to be, and I'll make it equal with the other side. You can do any style line that you want for yours. So I've gone ahead to sew it. What I'll do is I'll just trim it off. After trimming it off, I'll face it behind. So this is what you're going to have. I've created my style line. This is what you're going to have, and the stuff will be facing back. I went ahead to add my sewable boning. Please, I did sewable boning. I'll go ahead to place it and sew it. So I'll go over to my machine and show you how to place it and sew it. So this video is for people that don't understand what I'm explaining. So I went ahead to fold it into two like this. You might decide not to iron stay in your own, but I ironed stay in my own bias, like the bias I'll be using on it. So you go ahead to fold it like this, and then you sew it down. After sewing it down, you will trim off the excesses. The excess that you have, you trim it off, because you're folding it behind and you don't want it to be bulky, so that it doesn't relax. After then, you get your sewable boning, and you go ahead to measure what you are going to add. So you see, I left some up, I left some down, and then you cut it. When you cut it, you fix that boning. After you iron it, so it will be flat, you fix it and be sure of, you see what I'm doing, I'm cutting the bias to be sure of the allowance, and then I'll place it inside. You see, I'll place it inside like this and be sure that, okay, from here to here, this is what it's going to look like, and then I'll go ahead to sew it. So this is what it's going to look like. I'll go ahead to do for all the star lines. I will do for the star lines, and then I will show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like after fixing it. This is what it looks like. So you get your cup to fix. I'm gonna ahead to join the cup, and I've ironed it out. You just cut out the excess. You get your cup to join, and then you get your bra, already made bra cup. So what next you would do is to get the midpoint of your bra cup. So you fold your bra cup into two, and then you will notch the midpoint, and then you place it back to sew or with the fabric. So as you can see, I'm pinning it to be flat before sewing it, so I can really see the excess. I'll go ahead to pin it. So you get the cup. You see, after pinning, I've gone ahead to sew it. So there's some excesses. You will join the midpoints to the midpoint, and then you keep pinning it to form the cup. You do the same thing for the front before sewing. Please pin it. Pin makes your work easier. So this is the excess that we have. We'll go ahead to cut it after sewing. So you shape it after sewing. So I'll go ahead to do the same thing for the other side, and then I'll go to my machine to join them. After joining, this is what I have. I finished joining them. I'll go ahead to start trimming it. So you see that there's some excesses at that side, so I want to trim it to form the curve. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. Everything is looking so nice. You see the cup that I've shaped, everything is looking nice. So I'll go ahead to measure the end of that one so that it aligns with the other side. So you get your tailor arm so that you can iron it. You go ahead to press iron it, and so that it can relax properly. So I'll go to my machine and join the back facing the back and front, and to join it to be one piece. I'll do the same thing to the lining to face it, to make the lining to one piece after ironing, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the finished work actually looks like. I've gone ahead to join it, and this is what the finished work looks like. You go ahead to join and press. So now we want to fix the loop. Because this place is red, so we'll fold the edge in. So we'll be folding the edge in, and then we'll iron it. So you see what I'm saying, you fold it in like this, you fold the lining in, and then you press it. You do the same thing for this other side, and then you press it. So this is what the side looks like. You see I've ironed it in, so you do that. So for us to fix the loop, this other side too is in, So now it's time for the loop, for us to cut the loop and fix it. To fix the loop, we need boning, the sewable boning, and then we need bias like this stuff, this strip, to form the loop. So now I'm gonna head to measure 1.5 inch gap. So from that up, we're fixing one at that up. Between that up and that one is 1.5 inch. So 1.5 inch. I did that for both sides. So the gap is just 1.5 inch for both sides. So we're fixing one at the top and one down. So you pick your boning and then you measure from, you're not stopping up, you measure just short, and then you cut it, because we are sewing the loop on the boning and we are inserting the boning inside the loop, inside the space. So you measure both sides, then you cut it, you iron it, and then you make your loop, and then you start sewing it. So I'll show you what I did. So this is what I've done. You see what I did? I sew it on top the boning. It's actually not easy, so you're going to figure it well, because my machine was just cutting thread. So you do that. You see what I did, and that's how we are going to close it. So you fix it in between it, just like that, and that's how we are going to sew on the top at that edge like that. And we're going to sew 2 times, one switch front and one switch back. So I've inserted the boning inside. I will go ahead to start sewing at the tip to close the tip. You're going to sew because it will literally cut your thread, so you have to be very, very careful. So as you can see, this is what we have. You see that the thread was cutting, so you go ahead to sew the second line. We need to make a second line stitch to hold it. So we'll measure where the stitch is, and then we're going to measure where the boning is, and then we're going to sew. So you see what I'm doing and follow the process just like what I'm doing. So this is what it looks like. You see, you have to stitch. Please use matching thread. It's just for the tutorial process, that's why I'm using this. So this is what the finished work looks like. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share. Bye.